Priority Banking today.
And that's it from the world of business. But we continue with our discussion on the business of food. And staying here with us is the CS Agriculture and Livestock Development, Mithika Linturi. CS, thanks so much for staying with us. And I know you have a comment on the avocado story that I'll give you a chance to make shortly. But a question coming in from a viewer this evening is, earlier, some time back, the Deputy President, Rigathi Gachagua, and you, CS Linturi, had said that there was no maize in the international market. In fact, you called the situation as one of a scarcity. They want to know, where are we getting it now? And is it GMO or is it organic?
And I think other people, okay, most Kenyans have not understood the framework under which we are bringing in maize, or the food commodities that are coming from outside. And for the benefit of those that do not know, government is not spending any money in the importation of any food commodities in the country. And I want to repeat again, what we've done is to extend duty exemptions so that the duty exemptions becomes part of government's contribution towards the reduction of cost of prices of the commodities. And that is why that duty waiver must translate to reduction of the commodity prices in our in our shelves or in whatever supermarket. That is what we are monitoring. So in terms of where the commodities are coming from is the business of the importers that have been given permits to bring the food. And of course, any food that is coming in this country is being checked by the relevant government agencies that clears anything that is supposed to be for human consumption.
So you can guarantee that the 164,000 tons that has come in is toxin-free, is not GMO? What promise can you give Kenyans?
Of course, you know, we had set standards that every item should really comply with. And KEBS or other government agencies have really inspected and certified them to be free from toxins and is food that is suitable for human consumption. I have not had any contrary information to that, and in the event, or if I had, I won't clearly mention it. And I don't think our agencies are so irresponsible to clear anything that is not fit for human consumption. Remember, we are dealing with the lives of Kenyans. But please, allow me to tell those importers out there, or anybody who is working in cahoots or in collaboration with anybody that wants to undermine this good gesture of bringing the pain of food down or lessening the burden of the cost of food on Kenyans, and tell the millers that out there, or any importer, that we have given permits to bring in food commodities, that it is evil, it is immoral, it is criminal for anybody that wants to enjoy this facility and not want to transfer that duty-free facility in reducing the money of the cost of that particular commodity. And it is wrong, again, to continue making abnormal profits at the expense of the lives of Kenyans.
I believe they've heard you loud and clear. There's one question I'm still waiting for a response from. Do any millers have the ability to bring in GMO maize meal, GMO unga?
But how do they bring? The standards that are set out and that were in the Gazette notice are not for GMO.
So it's not possible, what you're saying, telling Kenyans?
That it is not possible. It is not possible. You can take the unga, you can take the food as long as it gets in this country. Remember, there is even an order, and the government of this administration is committed to the rule of law. And whenever there is an order of the court, we comply. So it is not easy. I think there has never been any other administration, as long as I can remember of, that has been committed to the implementation and the respect of the Constitution and the law, other than this one.
Okay. Before you talk matters avocado, a month or so ago, we saw you on a working visit to Zambia. You then came back and announced to the nation that you had penned an MOU with your Zambian counterpart. with an understanding that you would see Kenyan farmers allocated 20,000 hectares of land for large-scale farming. Now, there have been mixed reports on what the deal was. Was it whether it was Kenyan farmers going to farm there or Zambian farmers farming in large scale and Kenya being a ready market? How was this agreement reached and how was it supposed to work out? CS, clarify that for us.
How I wish I would be able to give the details of this arrangement, Maura. I really regret that I cannot be able to explain it to the country when it is very important and when it's very necessary for every Kenyan to know. And the reason is because my hands are tied.
How so? My
hands are tied because, you know, Kenyans have become very litigious. There is a petitioner who has gone to the courts by the name Farmers Party. And this Farmers Party, last week, did file their petition, and some of the responses, they got an order and have been given time to make my reply to that petition. So it's, because I also believe that whatever answers or the issues that I made this year, or that you want me to respond to, are the issues that are before the High Court for determination. And that is the only reason. And I've not made my response. So please, with a lot of humility and tremendous respect, allow me not be able to answer that question because it's being kind of ascertained, it's being for the judge, and there is already a pending, there's an order that there is from the farmers.
Can you at least tell us about your visit to Zambia and what you found?
I went to Zambia, and Zambia is a beautiful country. The country has a very small population of 18 million people. The country has very good land, very good climate, very volcanic source. The rain patterns are great. I went to Shambas. I saw with my own eyes the potential that there is in Zambia, and had discussions with the ministry and the leadership of that particular country. And in fact, what the leadership of Zambia did ask me is whether we would invite, so the country has 18 million and is 1.5 times the size of Kenya. In this era and age, people can be able to move and live anywhere. So when we are fighting for very small pieces of land and people want to develop, and they are offering pieces of land for us. In fact, it's not even 20. There was 200,000. You people misquoted and went telling people the wrong position. So there is a lot of potential in that particular. Let me deal with the issues of raised in the petition. When I am done with the petition,
we can fully discuss this here.
We can be able to discuss it, and Kenyans really appreciate.
And I respect, you know, the merits. I respect, you know, the law of sub judice, and I don't want in any way to get into that matter. But what would you say to a Kenyan farmer watching you this evening who says, our CS was in Zambia and seems to be focused there, and yet we have so many problems here at home?
By the way, let me tell you, Maura.
Has he fixed production here?
Let me tell you. You know, whatever somebody, the noise that is around here is about bringing the cost of food down. The cost of unga is what we're talking about is maize. If, for example, you were to get maize from anywhere in the world, and this is where the imports are coming in, at less than 3,500 shillings per bag, why won't you bring it here to feed our people? As we organize ourselves in the long-term plans of addressing the issues of food and nutritional security in the country. That is the issue we are trying to discuss, because there must be short-term, immediate short-term and long-term plans on how to address the problem of food in this country. Secondly, I did not go to look for land or to look for maize to come and bring to Kenya when I went to Zambia. My trip to Zambia was funded by FAO, and FAO has given me $5.2 million to implement a project called KEAMIS, the Kenya Integrated Agricultural Management Information System, that is meant to capture our farmers' data, that is meant to offer e-voucher redemptions, what we are doing, that is meant to offer e-extension service Those are the modules we want to create to get to reach out to our farmers. And why we went to Zambia is because Zambia has implemented this program and is working so well. So whenever you want fertilizer, and this is a problem I'm having, even with the farmers in the current subsidy program, that yes, our fertilizers are being redeemed, the vouchers are being redeemed at the NSPB stores. A farmer is walking or driving for 20, 30 kilometers to get to the nearest NSPB store. So if that farmer is going for 2 or 3, 4 bags, then it doesn't become very economical. So in Zambia, in collaboration, how the KEAMI system has done is that they have been able to work out with the agrovets and the government so that whatever the farmers are registered, the people benefiting from this system can be able to access their fertilizer from the nearest agrovet store within Zambia. So what we had gone to do is on a fact-finding mission on how the KEAMI system is working in Zambia, and then see how we can better or we can improve on this this system, because it's something that is being funded by FAO and the Swedish government, so that we have a better platform and better system that will be able to address our
Let me tell you what I'm struggling with, CS, and for discussion's purposes, let's use any country. Let's not specify Zambia. There's a matter in court and that sort of thing. What would make it cheaper that you grow food in another country, that food is transported all the way to Kenya, and it comes here at 3,500 shillings per bag, and yet food grown locally is at 5,750 if we're talking about the 90-kilogram bag. How does that work, CS?
You see, let's appreciate that certain factors or challenges, the few challenges that we have that make production expensive. And this is what the current administration is trying to address. Number one, remember, the cost of inputs has been very, very high. When you look at the past administration, the cost of fertilizer in the past administration was 7,000 shillings. This current administration has subsidized fertilizer. And through this subsidy, the cost of fertilizer itself, which is a serious input to one's production, is now 3,500. That is what the farmer is getting. So the farmer has already saved half of the cost that has been used in producing maize. Secondly, the issue of seed, the issue of pesticide, right? These are serious inputs that require, that contribute to the overall cumulative costs of any one particular bag of maize. So when we bring down these costs, of course, our cost of production will have come down. Secondly, why you understand that our youth do not participate in agriculture. We've left agriculture to the elderly. So our population has been ballooning. And those people that are doing now farming are fewer. So when you look at our pieces of land, by the way, have really, the high potential areas that are meant to have been agricultural, have been most of them have been converted to brick and mortar. It's like Kiambu and other areas. So where we would have ordinarily grown food, right, are areas now where you guys and everybody else is living. So the countries, for example, and this is not only Zambia, and that's like I was saying, because even last week, just before Easter, I was in Rwanda with the president. And we had an opportunity to visit a farm in Rwanda with the president and President Kagame. And when we went to that farm, and when we discussed with him, and the cost of production of their bags of maize or cost of production in an acre, you realize that they are far much below what we've done. So issues to do with the degradation of ourselves and most of ourselves are really quite sick, and the treatment that is required has been really a factor why we have continually had very low yield. So we have a strategy on how we want to deal with soil fertility, on how we want to deal with the cost of inputs. how we want to deal with the increased yields in management of post-harvest losses, so that the food that would have been lost because of failure and dedication to manage on our farmers to manage the harvest is really controlled.
What's the cost of production per bag in Rwanda? What's the cost of production per bag in Zambia? Do you have any figures?
I may not be able to tell you often, but when we sat down, when we asked such questions, and we converted that money, a bag of Rwanda cannot go beyond 1,500 Kenyan shillings.
A 90-kilogram bag?
A 90-kilogram bag. In Rwanda, in Zambia, we're almost at the same average of 2,000. That's the difference. So even if now, and this is what I'm telling you, if you were to bring maize from Rwanda or from Zambia, with the duty that we charge, still you will be able to get maize here at a cost below what we've been producing. I am hopeful that because of the current government interventions, by the time we harvest our maize now in the month of August, September, there, we will have now been able to bring down our costs by not less than 30–40%.
You've spoken about the factors that affect production. There are two you haven't mentioned. I don't know how significant they are. One is cartels. The second is corruption in the agricultural sector. Now, around a week ago, CS, it was reported by a media house that suspicious transactions by one of the companies awarded multi-billion tenders to apply subsidized fertilizer had sparked alarm among financial sector regulators. To be more specific, CS, large and unexplained withdrawals after payments from the Kenya National Trading Corporation and seemingly altered documents are under the radar of regulators as we speak. Explain to us, CS, this evening, what's this about? What are these transactions about? Is it about fertilizer?
You know, Mwaura, remember when I was doing politics, when I was a member of parliament, I wouldn't really escape with a lot of blunders as a politician. I have executive responsibility as a minister of government, and I cannot afford to be careless in my statements. And why I'm saying this is you want me to make comments or you want me to become a speculator.
We want to understand what
a speculator in this sense, you are referring to documents which I'm not aware
of taxpayers' funds.
Where?
Possibility.
Let me ask you, for God's sake, if the suppliers of fertilizer today or the farmers are getting fertilizer at 3,500, what rationale would you apply or how would you explain a reduction of a price of fertilizer from 7,000 to 3,500 and expect underuse in that process? How would you explain a situation whereby right now what the farmer is doing today is going by with an SMS on his phone, and you can't redeem that fertilizer by use of any models. You must be registered. And when we deal with what your statistics on why you do your farming, your acreage, our system is able to allocate you fertilizer.
Yes, so, and it's a fair point that you make, but some would say, wouldn't you be curious to the possibility that a farm sent 300 million to one individual, and that's part of the 15 billion or so?
You know, William Ruto is running a very transparent government. The opposition has their duty, and he has said it's open to scrutiny. We are open to scrutiny as a ministry. We invite them to come and check. Because one thing I want to tell you, there is now underhand deals that I am aware of, and there is what, in fact, those people should be, because I don't want to deal with speculation, is that if KNTC paid, I would be concerned. Or what would bother me is not where the money was paid to, or where the supplier of the fertilizer took his money. I would be bothered if KNTC paid for fertilizer that one was not supplied to our NSPB stores. That is what would bother me as a ministry. But I'm saying as long as I'm paying for goods supplied, goods received by our farmers, I have no business.
We reported, and various media houses reported, that police in Laikipia had uncovered a group behind the theft and sale of government-subsidized fertilizer. Again, I ask, how do you ensure fertilizer reaches the intended users? Yes, these are things that are happening, CS, and this is the only opportunity Kenyans can
The good thing is that there is the sale of fertilizer, if any, is not through conspiracy between either the ministry or anybody. I was told of that such a case when I went on Friday and Saturday, because I went to Muranga, I went to Kirinyaga, I went to Laikipia, I went to Nyeri, I went to Meru, trying to assess on what was happening on the ground. So what is happening for those that are selling, and the police is now on alert, and our security agencies, because the whole intention is for farmers to use fertilizer to produce food, is that the same fertilizer, the same farmer who qualifies for 10 bags, picks his 10 bags, gets out to somewhere, and then, other than going to use the 10 bags on his farm, decides to sell 5 to another farmer at 1,000 extra. And the farmer, when you fall up, is a farmer who did not register himself and does not qualify to get the subsidy fertilizer, and is not able to afford the fertilizer in the normal markets or in the normal aggregates at the retailing price. I did some bit of investigation, and I understand, I was able to understand that is what is happening. And that's why I'm telling in every meeting that the farmers, please, this registration process is continuous. Please let us have your numbers, because your numbers will be able to assist me in planning on how much I need to budget for subsidy, for fertilizer, for seed, for pesticide, or whatever it is. Those numbers to me are so dear, are so critical, because they're the ones that to assist me to streamline the sector.
Before we leave this topic, and you've come out very clearly, defending the transparency of everything around fertilizer, but some would ask today, if these transactions were as transparent as you speak of, why did they not choose open tendering under the Public Procurement and Disposal Act as a way to get the companies that would distribute this fertilizer? The kind of tendering, the manner in which some companies were awarded the tenders to distribute this 15 billion worth of fertilizer could raise questions in some quarters. How are they selected? Where from? And so forth, CS.
As far as I am concerned, KNTC is a government agency. It is KNTC that is buying fertilizer on behalf of the Ministry of Agriculture,
which you are hinging your agriculture recovery plan on.
Right? So, and this really, they've done very well. They've done very, very.
So you're not concerned about the restricted tendering?
Very well. So the issue, the question on how fertilizer or KNTC or the processes that KNTC undertook are outside my purview. Because to me, I have the budget, 15 billion in the budget, to buy around 6, that is to spend on fertilizer. What I request, or what is paid, or what is received by my farmers is what is paid for, right? And they submit the invoices and the deliveries. And that is what it's been for. So to how the companies were identified or not, it will be very unfair now, because that is even in another ministry. But I expect, because they are responsible, and just like I've told you again, this is a government that is being done openly, and that recognizes that there is law that we all be subject to. They must have followed certain. So
you have no curiosity. For any time the word fertilizer is mentioned, it's your ministry that Kenyans think of, CS. And this evening, you know that the National Assembly Public Accounts Committee has asked the Auditor General to audit that 15 billion. Is that something you're expecting? Is that something you...
I am not a friend of any audit. Let them come tomorrow. Whatever information we have, we'll be able. I have served as a member of Parliament. I've served as chair of those audit committees in Parliament. And I know how important it is, why Kenyans must have value for their money. We are ready, we are open to scrutiny.
Are you telling Kenyans tonight that there'll be no scandal under your watch?
I can tell you, there won't be any. I can tell you there won't be any. Because we've come to assist William Ruto as president of Kenya to make a change in this country. We have not gone to the ministry to work in this country to make money. We haven't. Mahora, I can tell you, that is not our business. The lives of many Kenyans, those that are living from the bottom of the pyramid, and it is on that premise that this administration was elected. The bottom-up approach, transformation model is what we must make sure succeeds. At whatever cost, it must succeed. And we must change the lives of Kenyan people. Those azulas mean so much in this country. So it is not our business.
On the global front, before I read a few SMSs, CS, the ranking of Kenya on the avocado front has been rising over the last couple of years. Where are we today on that?
Let me say that we have had increased exports of avocado, and the latest market was China, which the last time I checked, 3 or 4 months ago, within 3 months when that market was bent, we had raised around 1.8 billion. In fact, right now, because I come from some country out there, there is also quite serious demand on weekly basis for avocado. So what we are telling our farmers is to practice seal farming methods so that we are able also to be able to push most of our products to the EU market. There are certain standards that must be maintained, and we're in the process of making sure that our farmers are able to comply so that it's easy for these food crops or our products will be accepted in various countries, and that will be able to really expand, open our markets, increase foreign exchange, and by the way, be able to earn or make more money for our farmers because we have ensured a market for our goods. And you know why we have a problem with avocados is that there are times when macadamia was doing very well, and that is when the time when China and Japan used to really take most of our macadamia from the country, and now, which I think was also against our strategic interest that they wanted, they started growing macadamia. So when they started growing macadamia, they've already got down, so we have no market. So we are in the process of discussion with, and that is why, remember, there was a ban on the export of raw macadamia outside, which I'm trying to consider now on what to do, if that is what will be able to open the market out there. And I'm in consultation with the Minister of Trade. We want to see what we can do together. Of course, I'm also in consultation with the Council of Governors. And on the 8th of May, we are likely to be in America, in the US. Of course, among other things we want to do is whether we can be able to open market for export for macadamia. Some of the governors will be joining me in this.
For that?
Yes.
Okay. I'm interrupting you because I have so many questions, but I'll only take 2. I know I can't keep you here all night, but this is what a few Kenyans are asking this evening. Somebody here is asking via SMS, kindly ask the CS if he is aware that operations at the Kenya Meat Commission have been down and farmers haven't been paid since January. Also, the Department of Defense has a meat debt of over 1 billion.
Let me say that I am not aware. And the last time I checked, because when there was a serious drought in the month of February or January there, we gave KMTC around 950 million, the 950 million.
KMC?
For KMC, yes. And the NGESH have been running KMC very well. So we've run 2 programs. One is what we were saying, a ground slaughter program, and the other one, the livestock commercialization program, where KMC, we gave them money to buy that livestock that for them to slaughter and be able to sell. The other one, where the program on ground slaughter was being managed by the National Drought Management Authority. Of course, money was given to them by KMC, but that was for them to acquire the animals and be able to slaughter and feed the other people that didn't have food and required that meat. So anybody that is saying that KMC owes 1 billion, I think I would invite them to come to my office tomorrow and get to understand. I'll also pick it tomorrow with the Kano Gidaiga, who is running the institution, and I will be able to respond. Otherwise, I've just gotten to know about it now.
Just now?
Just now, but I will do a follow-up.
Fred Obachi Machoka is asking, kindly ask Waziri whether the government has any intention of removing VAT from drip irrigation products to help farmers in semi-arid areas to effectively participate in food production, considering that only 20% of Kenya relies on rain-fed agriculture. If that is correct, what's your response?
Good idea, friend, and we are not, we are open to discussions on how we can be able to bring the cost of production in this country. If indeed VAT is what is causing us not be able to achieve the required levels in terms of percentages in meeting our production, then we are willing to consider. Secondly, I would also want to say, even if it's not been really mentioned, that the government has even gone extra by trying also to make some bit of subsidizing diesel for farmers. So any idea, I am open to any ideas that will be able to bring down the cost of production down, to any idea that will be able to get many people to the farms to support me in producing food for this country.
All right.
Because this shame of us begging or going around in bush to ask for food is really not, we cannot tolerate this like forever.
All right.
We must sort our own food problems.
My last question well, my second last question is a mixed bag of questions via SMS line 22422 from farmers around the country. They are asking about fertilizer. Wahiga asked the minister why some people who applied for fertilizer have not received a message. That's one. Someone says, I registered for fertilizer, 2.5 acres in Nandi, 10 acres for maize and sugarcane in Trans Nzoia. To date, I've not received none. Someone in Kisii claims the fertilizer is being sold at night to traders. Gideon, a farmer, says, I registered, never received the message.
From where?
Gideon, farmer, Meru.
So let me, those are common questions which I've been able to pick from the trips that I've been making across the country. One, let me appreciate the openness by the farmers at asking these questions, because we really need to address them, and I've all through told them that right now the fertilizer subsidy program is in 28 counties. We've gotten to 28 counties. And remember, the rain sets in different times within the country. So for those regions... Is
it 100% coverage in the 28, or what percentage coverage of each county? Do you have an average?
We are looking at the numbers of people that registered in those particular counties. And the crops that we are supporting right now is maize and coffee. So if we are getting to a county, say, for example, like Meru, from our data, right, we will send messages to those people that registered for maize and coffee. Those are the ones that will get messages, because that is what our subsidy program is addressing. But however, I must admit, there are people that have not gotten messages because of some technical issues here and there. And we have an emergency call helpline, which I've been giving them to call. Because, number one, during the registration and the system that we are using to upload the farmer details, at times there were some errors in the manner in which they were registered. You miss a number on the phone, or during the uploading, it will not be so clear. So a number would be missed. So anybody that has gone there is able to talk to our people, and the contact details are corrected. So when that is done, then the messages are sent. So I apologize for that. And you know, Mwaura, to be honest, we started registering farmers on the 4th of January. We've registered around 4.8 million farmers. We have a system that is running, that is accessible, and that is people are using. There couldn't be some errors. I want to tell the country and pledge that will make the system even better, more accessible, more user-friendly, because our interest is to ensure a seamless, efficient system that can be able to get to our farmers.
Yes, the cost of food has been linked to the cost of living. Before Inauguration Day, the message was, as soon as we're sworn in, both will come down. Lately, we've been hearing a call, give us time to work. Kenyans are asking this evening, How much time do you want before you can assure them that truly life will become bearable for majority of Kenyans watching you this evening?
Maura, let me ask you. Yeah? And, you know, when we mean these promises, we mean them knowing that we won't deliver. Mm-hmm. The president, the deputy president has said many times that when they go there, and you want the Attorney General, sorry, not the Attorney General, the Auditor General saying the last week of the election, how much money was looted. The little money, that money was even enough to fund this project we are talking about. This cabinet and William Ruto has been working day and night to ensure that the country is stable, to ensure that the maturing days happen in good time, and the priorities now of government is how to really to have stability and be able to move forward.
Okay.
I think asking for some bit of time, because you can see what is being done, is not really asking for too much. And Kenyans,
how much? Do you have an average in your sector specifically?
Yes. In my sector, my friend, you know, we are doing very well. You can see we are now giving people fertilizer. Fertilizer, nearly everybody is happy. I want to assure you, by the time we are going for harvest, I will have increased. You know, we produced at the 2.4 million bags of maize last year, right? So our average consumption is 52 million. But I want to tell you,
a shortfall of give or take 20 million.
20 million.
What's your
I want to tell you in August, in August
2023.
2023, the next season in September, I would have pushed this 30%, 32 million bags to beyond 42 million bags. I would have a deficit of less than 10. And as we proceed, because, you know, production, you see, seed is also very important. We only been dealing with fertilizer. I'll be addressing the issues for soil fertility, seed and others that really have an impact towards increased yields. We are developing, and in consultation with other government departments on how, like Calro and others, on development of varieties of seed that are yielding and that are drought resistant. So we cannot really be able to do all that within a very short time of 3 or 4 months. But I can assure you, before, in another 1 year, in a year's time from today, we'll have closed on the gap of our imports on maize. We'll have been able to do our other products like sorghum, like cassava, and any others that can grow in other drought-struck areas of the south.
I was actually ready to let you go, but one viewer sent in a question that I must ask you. What is the fate of Galana Kulalu tonight?
Galana Kulalu is a government land. We are going to optimize the use of Galana Kulalu to produce food. Just like we have seen or identified 500,000 acres that has potential for growth, because we want to food production.
So Galana is part of that.
Is part of it. AONDC farms or prison land that is lying there fallow. And that is why mechanization, and we're in discussions with the countries of the people that will give us support towards mechanization, and so that we can be able to produce more in these government-owned pieces of land.
Do you have any timelines? Because the president spoke of 10,000 acres of land, a project in February, then another 10,000 after that to be put under maize. Till now, what we've heard is, I think, something with the Anglican Church on maize feed, maize meal or something, and a project maybe with a private company, but the progress of that promise by the president in January during an interview with the media, how far has that? We
have made serious progress. We have made progress, that I can tell you. We are getting the next season, we'll be on the farms, fully mechanized, fully supported.
So is there something happening right now?
Right now, including last week, we had meetings, and meetings are ongoing with serious governments.
For Galana Kulalu?
I am telling you, even including the other 500,000 acres from other government-owned institutions that have land that is lying idle.
CS.
And I want to tell the farmers that anybody who is not receiving any messages from the counties that we are in, There is a number, the helpline that we are using at the ministry that you can call to check the status on why you are not receiving messages for you to pick your fertilizer. You can always call 0800-724891. You will get instant assistance. To repeat, 0800-724891. That's our hotline.
Okay, I assume that they can call in the morning. Some might start calling right.
Let me tell you.
Right now.
We can call you. We are 24 hours.
You're 24 hours.
Yes.
CS.
That's how serious we are in addressing the issues of farmers in the country. Remember what agriculture is in the Kenya Kwanza manifesto. We can't sleep. We must solve the problem of food in the country.
In the remaining 1 minute that we have, you must be one of the cabinet secretaries that has had foreign trips at a high level as compared to some of the others as well. What has been the impact of these trips? Because even the Deputy President himself said he has had criticism that CS Agriculture has really moved around. CS, what's been the value to Kenyans of these trips?
I don't have to really explain about Zambia, because that one I've dealt with.
Pakistan, Germany.
Yes, I only have Pakistan. I only have Rome, which is Italy, and in Germany. Pakistan, you can call anybody in the tea industry. When I went to Pakistan, the government of Pakistan didn't have or allocate dollars to buy our tea. So remember, even when we went there, we were so desperate that I even was telling the country we even needed to do better so that we can get your rice, we can get our maize. But when I went to Pakistan and dealt or discussed with the government officials of Pakistan, the first thing I did was to ask them to classify tea as an essential commodity. The classification of tea as an essential commodity in Pakistan made sure that the Central Bank of Pakistan got the authority to allocate dollars to buy tea because it was classified as an essential commodity.
All right.
Just like they do in drugs or in other form of food.
Okay.
That is what we did, and we have no problem.
Briefly, Italy, Germany.
Italy. When we went to Italy, number one, I made sure that Kenya was included in the World Food Council, where you sit with the other serious countries making serious decisions with other government, with other UN agencies. Number two, it is out of this interaction with Rome a number of times, and they must be prepared, I've been going there quite a number of times, that I was able, out of that relationship, to put a case for Kenya. That you remember the problems we had with the locusts, the problems that we have in the management of our food systems because of the invasive pests that we have, like the fall armyworm and the others, that FAO was now or was able to support us by giving us an air tractor, an airplane. For those that may not understand what an air tractor is, ni ndege ya kupigana na locusts, ya kupigana na armyworm. I received the ndege, iko pale kwa anga.
Is it operational?
It is operational. It is a brand new Mwaura. It's a brand new air tractor for God's sake. If there is a problem, you go kandawa na kuingia kwa kiwanja. The only issue, and I'm telling you, and I'm not so happy because I don't like going begging throughout, is immediately I had the problem I'm trying to deal with is it requires insurance for it to fly, and insurance costs me $80,000. Which we are trying to look for because they don't give us.
Which is why I was asking if it's operational, because I think you told Rashid, my colleague, that
the knee is in good state.
Okay.
So
it needs insurance and you're looking for the insurance money.
Yes. So, and you see, it's just like, you know, like even when people are putting us to task, Parliament, you know, is the one that appropriates money for us for use. It's only last 2 weeks that they approved the supplementary budget, which was uploaded last week. We've not. Right now, it's when we're really getting to work because there's money to get to work. So when we're asking for time, remember, there are processes and procedures that are supposed to be used to really facilitate the government to work. So I want to ask Kenyans, don't be so harsh on us. We want to make sure that we succeed in bringing the cost of life. But also allow me to tell the country.
I can give you your parting, what's your parting shot?
That me, to be honest, I want to invite everyone to give us support in making sure that we produce enough food for ourselves and for us to be able to support those that have supported us forever, because there is possibility we can be able to do it. But I want to tell the country, and even Mondios, the problem of the reduction of food prices or cost of living is a collective responsibility for every Kenyan. We all need to work closely together in whatever form, in wherever you are. Please, let's work together. And
with your ministry,
we will not. Yes, we will be able to give support, technical and otherwise. But Maura, I will also agree. You will also agree with me. Even if you don't agree with me in anything else, we will not reduce the costs of food or cost of living by putting sufrias on our hands or going for demonstrations. No. That will not assist us. So anybody that is really concerned, that is patriotic enough, must really be willing to sit down, reason together on how we can sort our Kenyan problems together.
CS, thank you so much for your time. Thank you for joining us this evening. That has been the CS, Agriculture, Livestock Development, Mithika Linturi, joining us. A wide-ranging discussion. I've seen many of your questions. I think I'll forward them to his team. We are not able to get into them right now. But CS, once again, thank you for your time. Thank you for joining us. Let's take a short break here on Newsnight. When we come back, I take you through the day's sports and I'll read a bit of your feedback as well. You're watching Newsnight live on Citizen TV.